I'm so pleased here to be able to bring this little 5-minute message to you from a beautiful place that we've been enjoying the last few days. In fact, this is one of our places where we've been fishing a lot. And what I want to speak about this morning is about rest. You know, there's a lot of unrest in the world, but more importantly, our souls. Is our heart and soul at rest? Yeah, I want to use an illustration of a lady in the Bible we read about. Her name was Mary Magdalene. Her life had been crushed because of the effect of sin. It had been crushed drastically. And Jesus came into her life and touched her life to where it meant everything to her. It was the most important thing to her. And so Jesus touched her in such a way, she never wanted to be without him again. Well, if we fast forward a little bit and we go to now the time when, after the crucifixion, after men did to the Lord what was in their heart, and that was to reject him and to do away with him, she came to the tomb. It was early in the morning like this, at a sunrise. She came to the tomb because she never wanted to be without him again. But you know, when she came to that tomb, she found it empty. And boy, you can imagine the grief that came over her heart again. And so much so, we read that she was weeping so much so that she did not recognize who he was. And in fact, she thought he was the gardener. But when he spoke her name, Mary, it just thrilled her soul, and her response was Master, or the other thought is teacher. He had taught her so much. But fortunately, when she came this time to something that was empty, and then the Lord revealed himself to her again, she was filled with great joy, because she never wanted to be without him again. That's so important. We should be that way in life, to never want to be without Jesus again. And she was so filled with joy after weeping and full of grief that she ran back into the city and told the other disciples that they didn't even want to believe her. You know, isn't that the case? So often we don't want to believe the truth that's standing right in front of us. But we're so thankful this morning that we can believe that, because the tomb is empty. And because of that, because he is alive, he is the only one that has power over all these things that are distressing us, all these things that bring so much burden upon our hearts. He's the one that has overcome all that and is the deliverer who can give us rest when we put our full faith and trust in him. And so he's risen. He went to heaven, and he went there because the Holy Spirit couldn't come back until he had done so. And now for all those that put their full trust in him, depending, what that means, depending on him for their passport to heaven, not depending on anything else, but depending on him, you too can have rest. And the great thing about this rest, it's not just rest for an evening or a night, it's rest for all eternity. Trust this will be a blessing to your heart and soul.